Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another online meeting for Conscious Living Spirits Group on this beautiful Sunday here in Miami. We are today starting our meeting. We are going to have our friend Angela Stewart, Angie, with us in a little bit. Today she's going to talk about love yourself, which is always a very important and key topic in spiritism, and also a very challenging one. Understanding what that means, and most importantly, how do we actually get to do that? But before we start our meeting, we are going to do our initial reading today from the book Our Daily Bread. The lesson is going to be 46. And before I start reading, I would like to say good morning to Mary, to Vivi, to Anna. It's nice to see you guys here. Let me know if you can hear me and see me well, if everything is okay. So, lesson 46, it's called You, However. And it starts with a passage from Paul to Romans when he said, "But we who are strong ought to bear the failings of the weak and not just please ourselves. For what purpose do human beings acquire the righteous notion of faith in God? To evade the struggle and live their lives waiting to go to heaven? Such an attitude would be incomprehensible. Disciples gain the light of understanding in order to put it into practice on their own pathway. Jesus has granted them a piece of heaven for them to develop it and extend it across the land on which they walk. To receive sacred assistance from the Master only to avoid the workshop of redemption is to display extreme ignorance. To give oneself to Christ means working to establish his kingdom. Since they lack an understanding of the truth, earth's place of worship are replete with paralyzed souls who have deserted their own efforts in their yearning for heavenly bliss. This can be understood in individuals who have not yet acquired the necessary sense of reality. But you, who are more versed in knowledge, should not rest in indifference before the sacred duties of the light that shines in your inner world through the infinite goodness of the Christ. It is imperative for everybody to take up their work tools in the task they are responsible for, striving for the victory of good in the circle of persons and activities that surround them. Many sick spirits, overtaken by false preoccupations and worldly idleness, complete ignorance. You, however, are not weaklings, nor are you lacking in the Lord's mercy. Wonderful passage by Emmanuel. You, however, calling us to our responsibilities, especially in face of the knowledge that we already have, to do our part in the world in expanding the kingdom of God within our own hearts. So, with that, I want to say good morning to Elder Martins. It's so nice to have you here. Let's see what Angie will share with us today. Sure, I'm also very curious. And Cecilia, good to see you as well. So, with that, thank you for letting me know that everything is working fine, Mary. Let's get started with our initial prayer. So, I'll invite you to join me in a short prayer just to say, Dear Father, it is with immense gratitude that we gather today in your name to study, to reflect, to meditate, to nourish our souls. We ask you to bless our friend Angie so that she can be inspired by her mentor, by the benefactors of this group, in sharing her knowledge, her studies. Thank you so much again for the opportunity of today. And as we ask for Angie, we ask for all of us in both planes of life so that we can all be inspired, we can all be embraced by your love and inspiration now and always. Bless us all. Thank you again, and so be it. All right, so want to give Angie lots of time to share with us her studies. She always has a lot to say. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning, Susanna. How are you?
I am very good. Missing seeing you in person. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that soon, right?
Exactly, exactly. I missed that. My goodness.
I know, I know. All right, so I'm bringing you a PowerPoint and I'm stepping out. So have a good talk.
Thank you, thank you. So, hello everybody. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. It has been a long time that I haven't done a lecture. I have been studying a lot for personal reasons, for work. But when Andrea called me and she said, "Oh, you should do this one because I think it's going to be easier for you." And I said, "Love yourself." I'm like, yes, let's do it. So we have to love ourselves. And then start thinking. Let's just start thinking. If we don't love ourselves, who is going to love us? We are the first people who have to have this inner feeling, this inner love for us, so we can actually transmit this good love, these vibrations, this positiveness into others. And then we are going to be emanating these good feelings, vibrations, and we will attract others to see our inner beauty. And that's what I want to talk today about, our inner beauty. So, to start, I went to research about psychology, because psychology talks a lot about why some people have a low self-esteem. And then to talk about it, I discovered certain items. So lots of the psychologists, they talk about how was your upbringing, how did you grow up, how was it, and then it's very much connected to your family. So did you have a loving family, or your family was always like fighting with disagreements, with all kinds of difficulties, and you as a child you were always hearing mother and father or whoever took care of you, or the environment you grew up with, lots of fights and negative energy and all these difficulties. So it was hard for you, and especially when the words that come to your mind, the feelings, they are not that good. You start listening, "Oh, you are ugly, you're stupid," oh, and many other things, in addition to possible violence. So all this ends up making us to feel this low self-esteem. So the psychologists, they said this, that we internalize these words and these feelings, and we keep this inside of us, and we might not even know it, but it was there, the seed was there. And it's very different if your family was actually a loving family. Even if no family is perfect, all the families have all kinds of issues, and there is sometimes there are fights, there are disruptions, but the most of the time, the majority of the time, it was a loving family. So you had someone that actually came to you and told you, "I love you, you are special, you are intelligent, I care for you." So it brought to you these feelings of high self-esteem, because you had that, like, from childhood. "Oh, someone loves me." Even if no family is perfect, when we have a family that's a little bit more homogeneous in this positiveness, this helps us to build up our high self-esteem. And then we go now to do an auto analysis. Let's think about ourselves. how we are at this moment. So, what are our flaws? We have flaws, we all have flaws. Nobody is perfect, but it is important to us to think about it because lots of times we're like, no, 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 I'm good, I'm perfect. We think this when we are doing good. But even when we are not that good, we should be really realistic and say, listen, I'm not perfect. I have issues, but I also have qualities. And when we focus in our qualities boost our energy, makes us to feel like a happier, stronger. And this is awesome. So this is how we have to behave. But we need to understand we have flaws and what are our flaws. So first, that this is one of the things that psychologists also mention, that people that usually have a low self-esteem, they think like this. First, I need to be accepted, successful, and loved. I need to have all those items to have a higher self-esteem, to feel better. But when are we going to have this? When we are going to be feeling absolutely accepted, absolutely successful and loved? It's very difficult. We live in a challenging society. It's hard to have one of those items. Imagine all of them. So we cannot depend on that. We cannot depend on being accepted to feel good. We cannot depend on being successful to feel good. We cannot depend on, oh, I am loved. And not just by a partner, but by someone. You cannot depend on this to like, now that I have this, I can be happy. Because sometimes you don't have this, but you have to feel happy, or at least happier. And then we continue to this is another item that the psychologists also mention. It happens a lot. To feel happier, I need to eat some sweets. You know, when we are like down, we are not feeling good, and let's invade the refrigerator, and then like you eat, and after you eat, like, I'm happier now. Or, oh no, I'm feeling down. I have to go traveling. I'm going to go to a travel, especially now that we were locked for 2 years and now it's opening. People are like, oh, I'm going to travel. I'm going to go somewhere. I don't care. I'm going to put it in my credit card and I will feel happy. That's another thing. But what about I'm feeling down. I'm going to go to the store and buy the store. Or I'm going to buy all the pocketbooks, all the shoes, and I will feel so good. So these are just few examples that go through a lot of people. A lot of people, when they are not feeling good, they end up doing that. But this is not something that should be forbidden. What we have to understand is that how much are we doing it? Are we doing this constantly or once in a blue moon? These are what they call the momentary pleasures. And usually momentary pleasures, after they provoke guilty feelings. And guilty feelings are not good. We feel even worse than before eating that dozen of delicious brigadeiros, Brazilian desserts. So these items that we did, they are okay sometimes. Who doesn't like to buy a new dress or to buy new something else or eat a delicious dessert? Is wonderful. The problem is when we do it in excess. The problem is when every time I feel down, I have to eat or I have to shop or I have to travel to escape from my problems and to feel a boost of energy. So excess in everything. We know science tells us If you have too much salt, you will end up having high blood pressure. If you have too much sugar, you will end up having some kind of diabetes. If you buy too much, you will end up with a gigantic bill and you will be really stressed. One thing is when you plan a trip, you save money, you organize, and you do it. Another thing is like, I don't care. I'm going to put on my credit card and I will see the world. And then when you come back, you get really in a situation that's not very good. Another thing is when you start eating, and not even really thinking about your physical being, because it's okay. We are beautiful in many different sizes, not just what the society established. But what about your health? Imagine a doctor told you, listen, you are very close to be a diabetic. You have to avoid sweets. And then you just go and, I don't care, it's just today. But then the just today, it starts becoming a habit. That's what we have to be very, very careful. So we need to learn how to develop this discipline or auto discipline. I have to understand my limits. I have to create boundaries to stop myself when I'm doing something that's not good. And when we learn how to do it, then we are going to be dealing with the long term pleasures. And that's what we want. We want to have the long term pleasures to keep within us this feeling of a happiness, this feeling of I'm feeling good today. That's what we want. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? And I have to tell you one thing. You have to be careful when you look at yourself in the mirror. Let me tell you one short story. A few days ago, I watched 2 movies that were extremely powerful. And I cried like crazy. And then I knew tomorrow, oh my God, it's going to be tough because I watch movies very, very late. And of course, the next day when I look myself in the mirror, I was like, who is this person? I don't even recognize her. So be careful when you look at yourself. Choose a moment that you're a little bit better, not the one I did. So when we look at ourselves, we have to love ourselves. Whatever you are seeing there, you have to love yourselves because we are beautiful. We are perfectly imperfect. We are all different. And I'm not talking just about physical characteristics. When people talk, oh, you're beautiful, people are usually talking about the external. Oh, this woman is beautiful, that man is beautiful. But the beauty really comes from the inside out. That's the real beauty. There are many books of André Luiz where he describes that a woman, for example, was a gorgeous woman. And when she went to sleep, they went to visit her house. And André Luiz is searching for her. She's like, where is she? I don't see her. And then his mentor said, that lady, that's her. And he was shocked because she was really, really ugly. Her spirit was ugly. Her spirit was negative. So her beauty was just in that reincarnation, in her physical appearance, but her internal was not like that. So it's like a beauty is so different, but what we have inside is really what is important. And we have to always think like this because we need to learn what are our beautiful characteristics, and we have to focus on it to even enhance it. It's so important. And then we have always to focus that we are much more than our external appearance. As I already mentioned, beauty happens when we are like 20, maybe until 30. But when we start getting older and older, that's when our internal beauty is going to really show up. And that's what we need to focus. We need to focus on it, because our external lasts only for a few years. And then the internal is what's going to remain with us. And that's what we have to always focus. And we have to focus in our light, in our beautiful light. So let your light shine. We all have this inner light within us. We always have this internal beauty that sometimes we're like, no, I don't have it. I don't have anything. I don't have anything nice in me. But we all have. We all have. Maybe you are not searching it well. So what is our light? Our light are our qualities, our strengths, the good deeds that we are able to produce. This brings this light. This brings this beauty to us, not just to others to see, but for us to recognize and to focus on it. So it will help us to boost our energy. And now we go to the Spirit's book to understand a little bit of how this all can be connected to Spiritism. So in the question 911, Kardec asks to the spirits how to develop self-improvement and resist attraction of wrongdoing. So self-improvement, my inner good. How can I be better? How can I improve myself? And then how can I resist the attraction of wrongdoing? Because when we end up doing things that are wrong, we end up bringing our self-esteem low. We start feeling negative. Maybe at the moment we didn't, but later on it starts going. It starts growing on us. And what the spirits answer? The spirits answered. A philosopher of antiquity once said, know thyself. Wow. So the answer is within us. Goes back to the beginning. So I need to know my flaws. I need to know my qualities. I need to know how to improve myself. Because when I know it, things get easier for us to put barriers and stop ourselves from doing something good. But when we know our qualities, we are like, I have this. I am a compassionate person. I have love for others. I have humor. I can make others laugh. This is awesome. This is good. Your personality can shine. This is awesome. Let's focus on it. But we have to recognize we have difficulties because we're not perfect. So what are our issues? What are our imperfections? So maybe you are a person that becomes angry really quickly, or maybe you are a person that's envious of others. So you have to recognize it, because when that feeling start coming, because you know thyself, you're like, wait, this is my imperfection. I need to learn how to control. I'm not telling that you are a person that becomes angry super quickly, that tomorrow, that's okay. I don't need to worry about it, because this is not going to happen. We can't change drastically like that, but we can learn, oops, that's my issue. So let me remove myself from the situation. Let me not even go into some kind of mood that it will be hard for me to get out. So that's why it's so important for us to make this auto-analysis. Okay, what are my issues? How can I stop it, or how can I diminish it? Because this will help us in the long term. So we need to be better tomorrow than today. So today I'm here talking to you. I am recognizing that I have qualities, but I have flaws. And maybe at this moment, I'm not saying everybody's like this, maybe at this moment, I have more flaws than qualities. I have more imperfections than qualities. Or I feel like that. Because maybe you don't even have it, but maybe that's why you're feeling. You're feeling down. You're feeling, oh, I'm not worth it. I'm not good. Because that's how you were feeling. But we have to change it. This has to stop. So we can't be feeling that we have more flaws than qualities. We have to change this game. We have to change. We have to improve it. And what we have is act now. Because when you act now, you will work on this scale. You will work on it. So when we say, oh, I'm gonna improve, it's really is a work. It's something that you have to work. Let me tell you another very quick story. I think we all know the story of a man that was in the desert. He was dying because of thirst. He hadn't drink water in a long time, and he started praying. He started praying to discover a way to find water. And then his guardian angel was right there and was guiding him and was telling him, stand up, stand up, and I will help you. But then another spirit that was learning asked the guardian angel, but why don't you just appear for him and say, listen, it's right there. It's so close to you. Stand up. And he said, no, I cannot interfere on his free will. He needs to take the first step. So he needs to really wish to do the work. Yes, praying is extremely important, because when we are praying, we bring our symphony up. We boost our energy. We are like, we are asking for help. And then the good spirits, they come down. So we go up, they come down, and we meet in the middle, and we get help. So this man, he felt the inspiration. He actually stand up. And then when he stand up, he started being guided to where was the water, and he finally found it. So this is act now. This is work on it. Yes, the prayers will help, will guide us, but we need to take our free will to actually do something. That's how we have to be. And then we come to the Genesis. So in the Genesis, in the chapter 1, from 26 to 42, there are a lot of details about the Spiritist revelation. Lots. But I took just few to give us a little bit of a understanding, a little summary. So we have the beautiful message from Christ. So Christ told us in a summary, you cannot understand me now. Later, I will send you the Consoler, the Spirit of Truth, who will explain it all. So when Christ came to earth, the majority of the population couldn't understand him. That's why he was always talking in parables and these beautiful stories connected to their times. And the majority start like, imagining what Jesus was trying to say. The apostles, they could understand Jesus better, but they couldn't understand in totality. They had a better understanding. Jesus didn't need to talk to them in parables, but they couldn't grasp everything. That's why Jesus said, don't worry, I will send you a consoler, someone or something that will come and will help us. But for this to happen, lots of things had to happen before. And one of the things was the science, the development of science. Because when the scientists start discovering things that until that time they were mysteries, or they were considered by church a miracle. So this was really a big impact, because we start understanding, we start shifting now. This is not a mystery. This is not a miracle. This is just science that we couldn't understand until that point. So the big thing also was the separation from church to science, because now they can develop themselves in separate ways. Not they are gonna fight. We don't want this. We want this amicably growing together, exactly like our scale. But it's beautiful that they were able to separate and develop even more. And later on, we know Spiritism came. And the Spiritism brought us so much light in many things we didn't know. We didn't know where we came from, where we were going to, what happened after the death of this body. It also brought us the understanding of the immortality of the souls, the reincarnation, and God's loving justice. So this point is important for our talk of today. God's loving justice. Why loving justice? Because until this time, until the time of Jesus, for example, we were used to the God of Moses, that God that you were afraid of. You were afraid of God. If you don't do certain things, God will, or if you do something wrong, God will. So we were always like afraid of God's reactions. And then when Jesus brought us God, he used to refer to God as Abba. Abba in Hebrew language is daddy, is papai. Daddy is something very close to the heart. It's like when most of the children refers to their father as daddy. So it brought this God that was very different. And then we were like, wow, it's not such a fearful God, but it's a loving God. But we still continue like, okay, he's a loving God, that's wonderful, but why there is so much suffering? And I always like to say suffering is not the correct word, because suffering is when we are more like why me, why do I suffer? And this is not the correct word. Should be pain. Why I am in pain? Because pain is someone that understood the process, understood that it's painful, but it's not why me. It's because why not me? It's everybody. Everybody has some kind of pain. Our pains are different, but everybody has some kind of difficulty. So in the item 32, the question is, why do we suffer? It's a long explanation. But the short understanding is that the spirits face consequences from their wrongdoings. So in that moment, Spiritism taught us that this loving God is not like telling, oh, Angela, you're a bad girl today, so this, and this will happen to you. No. God is not doing that. We are doing that. With our wrong actions, we are like children. You know, when the little ones, they don't know better, they go to the socket in the wall and they are trying to put the little finger there. They're going to try to put the little finger there, not knowing they can get a boost of energy and they can have a problem. It's going to be painful. It's going to be painful for them. So when they do that, they immediately learn that's not good. They don't want to feel pain. They don't want to put the little finger there to feel the pain. So they quickly learn. They quickly learn about it and they don't do it. That's exactly like us. So we have to learn like, I shouldn't do it because that's not good. And then you must be thinking, but how do I know what I'm doing wrong? Well, the easiest way is always like think and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Would be happy if that thing that I'm thinking of doing to somebody else happened to me? Would it be good? I would be happy about it? Most of the time, if the answer is no, so you should control yourself and don't do it. Because that's how we are going to stop doing so many mistakes. Every time you think about talking, not even doing anymore, just talking, when you're going to talk about something, would you like someone talked about that thing about you? And you say, no. So that's like knowing yourself. That's the Spiritism's revelation, helping us to understand that we make our own problems. We create our own pain. So the pain can be shortened if there is repentance and reparation. So, but the first thing is recognition. So we have to recognize, we have to understand in our mind, in our minds, that what we did was wrong. So when we immediately understand, when we have the aha moment, so that thing was not good. So that's the first step. We recognize that's not good. But now we have to repent. We have to feel sorry for what we did. That was not good. I don't know why did I do that? I feel so sorry about it. But as Chico Xavier said, you cannot go back and construct a different past, but you can go forward and construct a different future. And that's what reparation means. Reparation means I will repair my mistakes. So if I can't repair to that specific person, to that specific case, you can always repair in different ways. That's what Spiritism tells us. We don't need to go to a certain person and fix it, because sometimes it's not possible anymore. Imagine you made something horrible, past so many years, you only recognize now, the person died, and you think, I can't do anything else, the person died. But maybe you can go to a family member and open your heart and help them out, or do to anybody else. Start extending your hands. Start being a better person, helping others, doing good deeds, improving ourselves, and helping others. And this will help you with the painful reparations. So this is all for us to really think about. And then we go to the gospel, this beautiful book that teaches us all the beautiful teachings from Jesus, the moral teachings that help us so much. So you do not need to be a Christian. You do not need to believe in Jesus to believe in his teachings. No. If you go throughout his teachings, if you understand it, you can be from any religion or no religion. Exactly like Gandhi. Gandhi once answered because someone was trying to trick him and was mentioning certain things about Jesus. And Gandhi said, if you follow the teachings of Jesus, you are doing very well. So Gandhi didn't tell him, oh, you have to follow my religion, my belief to be a good person. No. He said, if you follow Jesus' teachings, that's a blessing. Do it. So that's how we have to face it. So let's follow Jesus' teachings, his understanding, his love. And I separated just few items as I did before. So Jesus said, come unto me, all you who suffer. So what does it mean? Come unto me. Yes, in that time, maybe you could actually go to physically see Jesus. But nowadays, it means follow his teachings. Try to behave as he taught. Try to be more forgiving. Try to be more open. Try to be really like boost your inner light. Shine it. Because when we follow Jesus' teachings, we understand it. Forgive your enemies. You know, a lot of people say, I don't have enemies. But we always have certain people that don't like us, or certain people that we have a hard time with. And it's okay. We already read about reincarnation. We come back many, many, many times. And throughout the times, we make friends or not. But we have also to recognize it and say, you know, I don't like that person. That person never did anything to me. So let's try to be a little bit more humble and say hello, say good morning, say something to boost it. And that's exactly come unto me, all of you who suffer. And it also means have faith, because the worst thing is that why me, and rebellion against God, rebellion against life, rebellion against yourself. Have faith in yourself. Have faith that life will be better with your own actions, using well your free will. And that's what the gospel helps us. Help us to read, to meditate, and it will come right here. Believe, love, meditate upon the new revelations that the Spiritism brought to us, this new understanding, so many things that we couldn't even understand from the parables of our Jesus. And when we see the analysis done in the gospel, we also have another aha moment. And we're like, ah, that's what Jesus was meaning. Now I understand. But many times we even understand, but we have to meditate to discover how can I put it into practice. Not very easy sometimes. But the important thing is trying to do it, trying to do little by little, little by little. And better tomorrow than I am today. That's what we have to focus. And the last one, love one another. First, teaching. Educate yourselves second. So we know that love one another is our morality. We need to improve in our morality. We need to be better beings. We need to be calmer, loving, have more qualities than flaws, and we have to be constantly doing it. But we also have to educate ourselves. Yes, educate ourselves in everything. So, yes, we have to study, we have to improve our knowledge. And, when we study, when we improve our knowledge in this physical realm, we will boost our energy. We will be able to have a better work. We'll be able to have more possibilities. We will open our horizon. And another thing, we understand also the elevated spirits, they have these two very, very high. So it's not they are just highly moral spirits, but they are highly intelligent, highly educated. There is a story, a short story that Chico Xavier, when he started with his mediumship being super powerful, there was a committee of doctors from all over the world that decided to investigate Chico. So they were asking him lots of questions, very difficult ones, about mathematics, physics, astronomy, psychology. And the questions were extremely complicated. And Chico said, I could never answer that. But with me was Emmanuel and many other elevated spirits that were answering. So later on, these answers of Chico, they were researched, and most of the doctors that were there, the doctorate, I'm not just saying medical doctors, they were researching and they were like, yes. And some of the answers in that time, they didn't know. They themselves were like, there is no scientific proof of this. But Chico said, I didn't answer. The enlightened spirits answer. So the enlightened spirits, they have this very high intelligence that help them. So, and that's what we want to be. One day, maybe not now, but we have to constantly boost our energy to improve ourselves to be better. So I have to love myself every day, and every day to boost a little bit. What can I do to be better tomorrow than what I am right now? So this is like a very, very important. When you love yourself, you do not accept abusive relationships. It doesn't matter if it's from your partner or if it's from your boss or it's from a neighbor. You do not accept it. You are not going to be the head down, accepting this horrible energy. I'm not telling that you have to fight, but you can say, no, that's it. I don't want this anymore. It's better to be alone than in a bad company. So, this is one item for you to understand. You love yourself, so you do it. Another thing, when you love yourself, you have to learn how to stop being a people pleasing. What is a people pleasing? People pleasing is that person that likes to make everybody happy. So, oh, can you do this? Yes. Can you do that? Yes. Oh, I can't do this. Can you do it for me? Yes. So this person doesn't know how to say no. It's yes to everything. And everybody gets happy because, oh, that person, she's always saying yes. That's wonderful. But inside, the person doesn't know to say no. It starts crumbling because that person starts getting super stressed, is getting overwhelmed with so many things. So it's important that you say no, not all the time, but I calculate. Can I say no? Do I have time to do this? Is it possible? I will be happy if I do it. So take your boundaries, what is good and what is not, and learn to say no when it's needed. I'm not saying all the time, when it's needed. And finally, stop comparing yourself to others. We are all different, and this is the beauty. We are all different physically and spiritually. We are in different levels, and this is wonderful. I have a friend who is a twin brother, and when they are both together, I never know who is my friend. I'm friends of only one. Who is my friend? I don't know. But when they talk, immediately I know, oh, that's my friend, because they are very different in their personalities. So know to shine your inner beauty. Stop comparing yourselves. We are all beautiful in our own ways. This is very important. And to finalize, be thankful. Be thankful for everything you already have. You have a job, pays very little, be thankful, because maybe you wouldn't have any job. Oh, you have this body, you don't like it very much, be thankful, because maybe you couldn't even reincarnate. Oh, I have a family that's very, very problematic, be thankful, because maybe you wouldn't even have a family. Learn to be thankful. Be thankful every day. Be thankful to be breathing the air. There is a beautiful prayer. It's really a poem that Divaldo Franco loves to recite. That is so powerful. And it tells us to be thankful by all your physical bodies, our eyes, our sense of smell, our voice, hear, everything, the sense of touch. And he, during this prayer, teaches us all the beautiful things that we do not recognize. We take it for granted. Let's not take for granted anymore. Let's be thankful for this. It's such a blessing. But I will leave you with this to-do list. That's your homework. You have to pick up a piece of paper and write. I'm not saying to think. Write. Write for yourself. I'm not saying to publish anywhere. Write for yourself. 3 of your flaws, 3 of your difficulties. Write it down. You have to write it down to work on it. So I have this, this, and this. Okay, maybe you have 20 difficulties. Focus only on 3, okay? And improve it every day. And also 3 qualities. Write it down, 3 qualities. What are 3 qualities that are so well developed? That's wonderful. So maybe your qualities are not that good. Wonderful. Write it down. You have to improve it even more. Or if they are already good, another quality. Write it down and work on it. This is your to-do list to work on your own self-improvement. And finally, look at this. There are 2 kinds of people in the world. You and everyone else. So look at Angela, upside down right there. That's me. I am like this. I'm very different. I'm loud. And this is good. This is fine. It's not everybody that's gonna like a person that's very loud and but there will be people that like. And if there are people that not like, it's okay because we are different. We are different, and this is the beauty. Can you imagine if every single person liked tangerines? The poor apples would be so upset about it. So it's beautiful. And finally, my friends, this is beautiful Malala. We all know about her story, her fight for education, especially for little girls in Pakistan. She was shot in the head, and she said, "We were scared, but our fear was not as strong as our courage." And that's how we have to be. Our fear to be small and our courage to be strong. Love yourself, even whatever way you are right now, it will be better. Have faith and work day by day. Thank you, my friends. Hope you enjoyed.
Hey, Angie, thank you so much for the study. I love the picture of the girl upside down. I thought I was gonna use that when I'm talking to my kids, because we're, always trying to teach them from early on, right, to love themselves, their uniqueness, and especially as they enter the teenager years, that they want to be like everybody else. And there's all that peer pressure of, like, having to conform to what people norms that people establish, and giving our kids early on that sense of, you're okay just the way you are. You don't have to be like anyone else. There's beauty on you being you. And it's such a difficult job that we have, because it's hard to teach something that we ourselves have yet to conquer, right? We all have issues with self-esteem, but at least, as long as we are aware. I love the homework too. Actually, just as of last weekend, I was reading a book, and the book said, try to analyze what are your postures in relating to others. And I actually pick up my pencil and I started writing on the book what I identify, how I identify I was being with a certain person with whom I was having a difficult time. And so I did my list. I've been judgmental. I've been very critical. I've been defensive, and it's
Well,
it's it's powerful, because it just helps you, right,
yeah,
to see, and it's an important starting point. You can't change what you don't recognize that needs to be changed. So it's very powerful that way.
exactly. It's important for us to open up for ourselves because we can't lie to ourselves. We are not going to
Yeah.
publish anywhere. It's for ourselves. And then we are like, wow, I didn't really believe that I was like this, but yes, I am. So I have to work on it.
Yeah, and a lot of times just the realization of the feelings, it's very powerful in itself. It does promotes a shift within, and it
Yeah.
gives you like a different perspective. So in any case, thank you so much. I hope everybody enjoyed, and thank you, Elder. I definitely will follow up with that. Um, and thank you all for being with us, for participating. I will ask Angie to close for us, do our final prayer for today, please.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. So let's close our eyes. We are in front of a computer. So let's connect with the spirituality that's surrounding us. Let's elevate our thoughts. Let's give thanks to God for everything we have. Let's focus first in our physical body. It's so beautiful to have a body, to live in this life, to learn, to improve ourselves, recognize our difficulties, work on them. It's such a blessing. Thank you so much for another opportunity where we are helping ourselves with the understanding of Spiritism, this light that opens up so many doors, opens up our thoughts, help us to understand even the differences and recognizing they are fine. We can be exactly the same. And this beauty in the differences helps us to grow in respect, in understanding, in morality, and in love. And we would like to ask the spirituality to connect with us, make all of us together at one at this moment, sending these loving vibrations to our planet, our beautiful blue planet that in this moment is going through such a hard time. We all know about the war of Russia against Ukraine, and we would like to send positive thoughts to both of them helping that somehow good things can happen, that the spirituality can do something to help both of them and our planet to come to a peace, helping us with our difficulties, helping us to be more loving, more peaceful, understanding it is so important to our own future. Thank you, dear Lord, for all the blessings that we've received today. Thank you for all the blessings we are receiving always. So be it.
Okay, thank you, Angie, once more. Thank you, everybody. I wish you guys a great, great weekend, and hope to see you again next Sunday. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.